This is Mountain Vision. Welcome to the Wildcats Football Coaches Show, your home for all things Flint River football, with Wildcats head coach Josh Dare and your host David Carden.
Let's go!
Welcome to the Flint River Wildcat Coaches Show with head coach Josh Dare. I'm your host David Carden. Flint River traveled to Warrenton, Georgia last Friday and fell 48-20 to the Briarwood Buccaneers. Coach, take anything positive away from the game?
Yeah, we found some good things to take away from the game. You know, the main thing that we took away from it was a great chance for our team to see where we got to get to be competing for a championship this year. That's a great opponent we played. They got a really good line, a really good running back, and they have a lot of pieces, and they use them well. And you know, there's a lot of things that we did poorly in the game. To allow them to look as good as they did, so it's a good learning lesson for us. But yeah, I mean, the kids' fault. We had a chance to roll over. You know, the first three possessions, they just marched up and down the field on us and scored, and it's 21-7. And we could have. I mean, it was 20-7, and we could have rolled over and just quit there. But then the kids fought back, and you know, it was 27-20 at halftime. And I told them at halftime, I don't know how we're only down a touchdown, but that just shows how hard that they're willing to fight and how gritty they are. And you know, we got some little things we got to fix up, but you know, that's a team that we could face later on in the year. And you got to play, when you're playing a team that good, you got to play pretty close to perfect to beat them and play with them. And that's not what we did. You know, we had some penalties that cost us and cost the turnover, and just, you know, little things like that we can fix up and move on and learn from and keep pushing forward.
On y'all's first offensive possession, y'all were moving the ball pretty well, got into a third down situation. Y'all were looking for Williamson out in the left flat and had a defender in front of him and looked like Parker trying to kind of drop it over the top.
Right.
Overthrew him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then y'all had a penalty to set you back, give you an even longer fourth down play.
Yeah.
Would you still go for it on fourth down again?
Yeah, probably would. And because we knew that we were going to have to score with them. We were going to have to match them because they're tough to stop. We played them last year. We had a tough time stopping them last year. And it's basically the same team that came back. So, yeah, going for it right there. And we wanted to test their secondary. And, you know, and it was early in the game. So, and they were prepared for our passing game. They didn't let us throw it at all. And, you know, they had monsters at defensive end. So that was kind of tough for Parker as well, because every time he rolled out, he had no vision. He couldn't see, and we couldn't get them blocked. And they were fast, and that's what happened on the third down play to Brett, where he was open on a little out, but he had a defensive end in his face, and then he saw the strong safety out there, so he had to get it over the end, over the strong safety, but underneath the corner, and he just wasn't able to do it. That's a really tough throw. And but yeah, I mean, we're going to go for it, and especially against a team like that. You know, they got the ball first, and 4 or 5 plays later, they were in the end zone. So
Well, it seemed like on that first drive they were almost averaging a first down a run.
right, they were. I mean, they were 222 yards in the first half rushing. You know, on 20 carries. So I mean, they're 10 plus yards a carry, and we knew their running back was good, and we knew that it was going to be tough to stop him. And we had a hard time tackling him one-on-one. He has a great stiff arm. He's 6'1", maybe 6'2", 190 pounds, and that's a big running back, especially in this league. So you know, he's the credit goes to them. They beat us. We didn't lose the game. You know what I'm saying? We did some things wrong, and a lot of times you can look back and find things and say, well, if we did this or if we did this, that's not the case. They beat us. They came out there. They outcoached us. They outplayed us, and then they beat us in every aspect of the game. So.
Yeah, that would look like on Gatewood's third offensive possession, y'all might have found a little something to slow them down. Y'all had a couple tackles in the backfield and came up with the interception.
Yeah. You know, and you know, we our defensive front cut through a good bit on that series, and it slanted hard and got in the backfield, and then we got the interception, and then after that they didn't throw it again. You know, I think they maybe threw it one more time, and they had two passes on the game, but they had no reason to because we couldn't stop them, and on that possession, I think one of them was Luke Hardaway broke through and got a tackle in the backfield, and then just kind of the flow. I don't remember exactly who made the play on the other one you're talking about, but just it's kind of a gang tackle. The whole team got there and got him down, so that was great.
Yeah. Was that something going in maybe y'all thought about, if we can get this run down and force them to pass?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's every week. We're trying to get people in second and third and long, and we weren't able to do that. And even when we did do it, they still found a way to get it to 22 and him break through. And I mean, he's a beast. He's a great running back. So.
Yeah, like you said, he was big,
Mm-hmm.
and he's fast,
Yep.
and shifty, and
Yep.
like a tough guy. He broke several tackles and just ran right through people.
Yeah, I mean, he's a college running back. He'll play at the next level, and he was fun to watch. You know, he's a good ball player.
Well, he was kind of fun to watch. I know you don't want to go out there and watch him do that to your team,
Right.
but he was pretty fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
After y'all got that interception,
Mm-hmm.
y'all had a little drive moving on,
Mm-hmm.
and it came. I forgot if it was third or fourth down.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had Parker Williams out on a bootleg, looked like he was maybe trying to pass.
Yep.
And you mentioned those defensive ends, and everybody was out there in front of him.
Yeah.
Somehow he managed to turn it upfield.
Yeah, that's one of the few times that they lost containment on him, and he was able to get around them. He made a move on a tackle that had flowed, and when he started running, Brett Williamson made a great block, and another receiver came back and made a great block, and we were able to get the first down, keep the drive alive, and go punch one in. So that was awesome.
That was Brett Williamson scored that touchdown after that, right?
Yep. He did right up the middle.
Right up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of those few times y'all were able to kind of win that line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Well, you know, we got, especially in the second half early on, we were able to run in between tackles. And that, you talk about a positive. That's a positive that we were able to take away from it. They had to put three guys. They had to put a nose guard and two tackles head up our guards to stop Brett up the middle. And that's something that we haven't been able to do this year. So it was nice that a team had to make an adjustment to stop us from running in between tackles. And I thought Brett did a great job running the ball. And there was a lot of times where he got hit at the line of scrimmage and still found a way to get 4 or 5 yards. And then there were a lot of times there were gaps, and he was hitting through it and falling forward. So that was definitely something we were happy to see, because they had some big old guys down there. And we were going to the right guy, and we were holding them off the best we could. And we found some gaps in them and ran the ball fairly decent. So.
That running up the middle and be able to run through the tackles,
Mm-hmm.
in between the tackles, that really opens y'all up for the plays on the outside.
It really does, but like I said, those defensive ends were so good for them. That's what we kept doing, and we kept thinking that it was going to open us up. But we couldn't find our edge game. You know, those guys did a great job of they were setting the edge instead of letting us set the edge. And when they set the edge and we had to turn it back in, I mean, they had some big old guys flowing and there to make the plays. So, and then when we bounced it, you know, they had some really, really fast linebackers. So it was really hard. Anytime it got bounced, those linebackers were flowing over the top there, ready to make the play. So they're just they're a very high quality football team. And now we know where we got to get. And if it comes up to where we play them again, you know, we don't feel like we can't beat them, but we do feel like we got to play pretty good and pretty perfect to beat them. So.
Yeah, like you said earlier, almost perfect to beat those guys.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Coming in towards the end of the first half,
Mm-hmm.
y'all were down 13, 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might have missed an extra point in there.
Right.
And Brett Williamson had a big catch out along the sideline to keep the drive going.
He did. We ran a play we called Oscar. It's just an out with the inside guy out of trips, and Brett has a go. And Brett ran his go, and then he saw Parker scrambling, so he came back to the ball, and Parker was rolling. He's right on the sideline. He throws it right down the sideline. Brett gets his feet in, catches it, falls out of bounds. It was a great play by two kids just making a play.
It was kind of just everything. The original play broke down, and they were just making something happen.
Backyard football at that point, and it's that's the kind of stuff you can't coach. You know, either your kids are going to learn to come back to the ball, and they have that in them, and those are two of the kids that do definitely have a lot of football knowledge, and it showed. You know, because they made a couple plays like that where the initial play broke down, and they just scrambled around, and then found each other and kept drives alive for us. So.
That the football knowledge and maybe the chemistry they have between each other helps that out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So.
After that big catch by Williamson,
Mm-hmm.
set up a interesting little play y'all ran for the touchdown.
Right.
One I don't think I've seen y'all run this year.
Yeah, it was just it was a tackle eligible, and we did do it out of empty. We put the tight end to the right with twins and a running back over there, and they all see the three receivers, and they all shifted out there to that, and then we had Brett out wide by himself, so that corner shifted over there to guard Brett, and the linebackers just forgot about the tackle, and he just blocked for a second and then just releases behind the linebackers, and we dumped it to him for, I think, about a 15-yard touchdown. So it was a play we put in last week, and because we've been struggling in the red zone. Yeah. And that's why we put it in, was because that's a great red zone play, is just spread them out, and hopefully they'll forget about him, and we can sneak him into the back of the end zone.
Right. Kind of fake a little block and then just release on downfield.
Right. Yep. They executed it great. So it was a good throw, good catch, and that got us 27-20 going into the half, and we were in a game that we were getting pounded, and like I said earlier, that shows the grit that this team has.
Yeah, it seemed like y'all were. You were talking about having the twins and the running back to one side.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like y'all tried to set up several screen plays out of those.
Yep.
And just really didn't hit on any this week.
Well, I think we threw 3 or 4, and Brett had pretty good yardage on, I think, 2 of them, and then the third one we tried, it was late in the game. They knew we were passing, and what they did is they put somebody right in Brett's face and then somebody behind him. So when Brett ran the screen, well, he had a guy right in his face, and they were going to take that away. And then they had multiple people deep to take Cullen away on his deep route. So they had an excellent game plan to stop our passing game. They said that they weren't going to give up the big play, and they weren't going to let us throw it deep on them, and that's what they did, and they executed it well. They gave us the little stuff. There's a lot of times where we had guys running open in the secondary, but we couldn't see them because they had those monsters right in our faces, and it was tough to see. But like I said, they had an excellent game plan. They outplayed us, outcoached us. I mean, they did a great job of executing Friday night, where we had moments where we executed great, and then we had moments where we didn't. So that's the difference between playing a team that's ranked number 1 or number 2 and a team trying to get there. Now our kids saw what it takes to be an elite team, and that's what we're going to learn from, and now we're going to push forward and keep trying to be perfect.
We'll be back with more from head coach Josh Dare on the Flint River Wildcat Coaches Show.
Murray Company Realtors in Griffin offer a wonderful riverfront family home. This 2-story Victorian-style home located off Highway 18 along the Flint River features 3 bedrooms with 2 full and 1 half bath, open living room, and a full finished basement. Situated on more than 24 acres with a view of the Flint River, this beauty is over 3,300 square feet. Call Mark Hawkins today to view this lovely home. Looking to buy, sell, or rent? Murray Company Realtors is ready to meet your real estate needs.
Here at Sun Fashions, we have a variety of all your needs, from half wigs to whole wigs, from lace front wigs to ponytails. We also carry your beauty supply needs. We have your latest fashion in jewelry, handbags, clothes, and shoes. So whenever you're in town and you want to shop around, make it your passion to come to Sun Fashion.
Welcome back to the Flint River Wildcat Coaches Show with head coach Josh Dare. I'm your host, David Carden. Y'all started out the second half with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good field position to start out that drive.
Yeah.
Y'all had a little unlucky break. Kind of seemed like right off the bat on that drive. A low snap.
Mm-hmm.
Parker Williams went down, tried to scoop it up, and they called him down because his knee was down when he picked it up.
Yeah.
Is that the way you saw it?
Yeah, it was. It was right when it happened. I said, his knee's down, and they blew it dead. And it was a great call. And it's just that's exactly what we just got through talking about. You can't do that against them. You can't. It's already hard enough to get. We're fighting for every yard we could, so we can't do something stupid and set ourselves back. And we even found a way to get a first down out of that situation. And then we got to where it was 3rd and 10. We got the first down a couple plays later after Parker got the low snap. And then it was 3rd and 10, and Parker scrambled around to the left side and got right at 6, maybe 7 yards, and it could have been 4th and 3 inside the 20, which is very manageable, but we got a holding penalty. So instead of being 4th and 3, now it's 3rd and 20, down 7 against a team that we haven't stopped. So now the pressure's really on us to make a big play right there. So we had to, we were running the ball right up the gut, and we were just running. And they made some adjustments during the drive to stop that, and we found the edge a couple times. James Murphy almost got loose on that same drive. The running back, 22's got a little brother, 23, who is really fast, and he's probably the only kid on that team that could have made that play on James, because James was right down the sideline and about to kick it into a different gear. and 23 got his hands on him just in time. Or we're not even talking about that play because he's gone.
Yeah.
And so we had that happen, and then the holding penalty. And once you get in 3rd and long against those guys, it's tough because they, like I said, they had safeties 15, 20 yards off the ball, not letting us complete the deep passes, and those monster ends were coming in and making sure we didn't put a little 10-yard passes. So.
Yeah. That was the same drive y'all tried the halfback pass on that y'all have had so much success with.
Yeah,
this year.
it was 3rd and 20, so we decided let's try the halfback pass. Probably a bad time to call it because that's such a, they know
obvious.
it's coming, right, and and Cullen still got behind the safety in the corner because they did take a step forward and we got behind them, and James made a great throw, but they just had 2 defenders going back. And if you watch the film, if the ball's thrown a yard farther, we got a touchdown. So they did a good job of stopping it, and we came really close to executing it when we shouldn't have. And then on 4th down, it was 4th and 20, and we were on the 30 because we had to get to the 10 for the first down. So we didn't want to punt because if we kick it into the end zone, we only give them 10 yards.
Right.
So we just decided to throw it up to Brett deep, and Brett almost went up and made a play and turned the ball over. So
yeah, he was down there fighting with, I forgot if it was 1 or 2 of their defenders,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all going up for the ball.
Right, and then he was above him. We threw it a little bit to the outside. I bet if we look back on it, he should have just ran his route a little wider, a little closer to the sideline, and he'd have had a better chance of being in a one-on-one battle. So, but it's just like we said, we had a chance to be in 4th and 3, and we made a couple short yard conversions in that drive. So we were feeling pretty confident and comfortable during that drive. And we had a hold call and made us 3rd and 20, and
It seemed like y'all had several penalties at very inopportune times.
We did, and it's just a young team, that's part of it. You know? And I tell you, and the officiating to us was we thought they did a great job. They had way more penalty yards than we did. So but it's like you said, they were just in the wrong moments. So
Yeah, well, they had several big plays called back because of penalties.
Right. They were holding, and they got a couple holds and a couple clips, and so but there were definitely penalties on both sides of the ball. That's not something that won them the game or lost us the game. It was just it's football. You're going and you're blocking against people, and anybody will tell you you can call holding every play. So when they decide to call it, they call it. So.
You'd mentioned Cullen Evans was the receiver y'all were looking for on that halfback pass.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a play we hadn't seen a lot of him this year on a little jet sweep.
Yeah, he did a great job. He ran jet left, and that end got wide and set the edge, so he turned it up, and I think he got 7 yards off of it. He did a great job running it, and we probably should have come back to it and run it a little bit more. We were just, like I said, they were setting the edge so well. It was tough for us to get around them. So we tried to stick with our inside running game, and we had success with it. I think Brett and James both right at 80 yards apiece. So I think we rushed close to 200 yards, somewhere around there. So not awful, but they rushed they had 450 yards of total offense. They had one player go for 313. So it's not awful, but it's definitely not going to be good enough to get the job done against them. So
yeah. Y'all had maybe a little injury issue. William Quinlan took a big shot over on the on Briarwood sideline. Is he going to be okay coming into this week?
He went to the doctor yesterday, and he's still kind of up in the air. He's kind of got like a bruised rib or a strained muscle in there, so he's having a little difficulty breathing. He didn't practice yesterday. Probably won't practice today. He's probably not going to practice all week. It'll be a Friday decision if he feels like he can go or not.
Just kind of maybe how he's handling that pain. Or
Yeah, we got a couple of them, and then Parker, he has a sprained AC joint in his shoulder, so he's out. I don't think he'll play Friday night. He may play Friday night, but I don't know if it's going to be smart for him to play Friday night. Our first region game is next week, and we definitely want to win. We got homecoming this week, and we want to win this game.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't want to take some of our starters who are banged up and go play a game and take a chance of getting them even more banged up to when they're sitting out games that are really important for us. Every game's important. We want to win every game. But it is what it is. When you're playing a region game, that's what helps you seed for the playoffs, and that's the ones that you really got to win and have your guys ready for.
Yeah. Parker's AC joint, is that in his thumb and shoulder?
Yeah, it is. Late in the game, we ran a go to Chase Lewis, and he was wide open, and the backside blocking collapsed. And right when he let it go, some guy hit him and drove him into the ground and drove him right into his, it was from the left side coming from his blind side, and they drove him onto his right shoulder. Well, the play was open, so we came right back to it and ran it again, and I didn't think anything about his shoulder. He got up, he didn't say anything about it, and then now we throw a bomb with the same shoulder, and right after he threw it, he was in pain, so we got him off the field, and he got to the doctor that weekend, and then he goes back today, and we'll have a better understanding of how long he'll be out. So.
Oh, so you still hadn't heard from him today after today's doctor visit?
Well, he went to the doctor on Saturday, and they said it was a sprained AC joint, and then they'll go back to the doctor, and then they'll talk to the doctor again today, and he'll kind of give him a better update.
We'll be back with more of head coach Josh Deere on the Wildcat Coaches Show right after this.
Murray Company Realtors in Griffin offer a wonderful riverfront family home. This two-story Victorian-style home located off Highway 18 along the Flint River features 3 bedrooms with 2 full and 1 half bath, open living room, and a full finished basement. Situated on more than 24 acres with a view of the Flint River, this beauty is over 3,300 square feet. Call Mark Hawkins today to view this lovely home. Looking to buy, sell, or rent? Murray Company Realtors is ready to meet your real estate needs.
Here at Sun Fashions, we have a variety of all your needs from half wigs to whole wigs, from lace front wigs to ponytails. We also carry your beauty supply needs. We have your latest fashion in jewelry, handbags, clothes, and shoes. So whenever you're in town and you want to shop around, make it your passion to come to Sun Fashion.
Welcome back to the Flint River Wildcat Coaches Show with head coach Josh Deere. I'm your host, David Carden. Coach, y'all ran a lot of tight end this weekend. Dalton Bowen saw a lot of time out there at that position. Was that something just try to get that running game going a little better, maybe slow down their defensive ends?
Yeah, and we had watched film on them from the previous weeks, and they like to keep 7, 8 in the box. And it doesn't matter how spread you get them, they can still keep their core in there, and they play man-to-man out wide and say, let's go. And they pretty much look at you and say, you're going to have to beat us throwing. And they've got a great pass rush, and they've got really athletic linebackers. So, we went with a tight end just to get another blocker in there. That way we had even numbers, and we could have a hat. We call it hat on hat.
Right.
So we wanted to just make sure that we had everybody blocked, and that's why he was in there. And that helped. And we had run a little tight end the previous weeks, but we ran a lot this week, because when we did spread out, when we went trips, and they didn't spread out with us, they said, all right, we're going to put 2 guys over here and keep 7 in the box and make you beat us doing something that you don't want to do, is basically what they were doing, and they did a great job executing it, and they were successful.
Yeah, Dalton also made a couple nice plays on the defensive side of the ball, chasing some guys down.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dalton hasn't been a tight end for us until this week because of how important he has been to us on defense, and he's been chasing people down from the backside all year. And then, and we've been wanting to keep him off the offensive side of the ball so he is fresh, so he can do that. And he played both sides of the ball this week and showed a good motor. And, we didn't feel like he got real tired, so it might be something that he gets to do more of, especially as it gets colder. Some people play better in cold weather because they not losing as much energy.
Right, cold weather's football weather.
Right,
so.
right. That's exactly right. So, but yeah, he did a good job for us at tight end, being the first time that he played it. And then, he's been really good for us on playing outside linebacker. So,
well, if he's going to possibly be playing more tight end, maybe he get involved in the passing game a little.
Probably not. And actually, yesterday we put in another set where we didn't have him at tight end because we didn't. The one thing that I told the coaches was make sure that we don't run too much of this set because I don't want him tired for defense. Right? Because you got to stop people, and we knew how good they were. And I think that's one thing that I did poorly is we were in that set too much to where he was on the field too much, and he didn't have as much of a breather. Where we only saw him run down a couple plays where maybe if he's not playing as much offense and wrestling with those big old guys on the line every play, then maybe he's more fresh on defense, and that could have been something to help us stop the running game. So that was probably something I failed at, but we made that adjustment yesterday to where we're bringing Greg Chambers has been our tight end.
Right.
So we're going to put him back at tight end, and But as far as the passing game goes, I like to max protect. So yeah, we might sneak a tight end out every once in a while, but right now I want to make sure that people stay off the quarterback and make sure we got plenty of guys in there blocking, because we've got some quick receivers and we got receivers that are catching it well, and we like our combo routes that we have right now. So we'll just probably stick with our combo routes with our receivers and make sure we're getting a good wall so that Parker feels comfortable back there.
Just give him enough time to get the ball to the receiver.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Speaking of playing defense and stopping a good team, pretty good team coming to town this weekend for homecoming.
Yeah.
The Gatewood Gators from Edenton, Georgia.
Yep.
They run the triple option.
They do. They'll be in the I, and they'll run the veer out of it and the triple option out of it, and they do it really good. They are a really good team. We played them last year and just had an extremely fun game with them last year. We had the ball late in the game, down 7, and they stopped us on the 1-inch line. It was 4th and goal from the 1, and we ran a little quarterback sweep, and our fans say he got in. Their fans say he didn't. We were on the road. The official said he didn't. So that's the kind of games that the home team's supposed to win a game like that. You know? So that's how it goes. So so we got a chance to kind of redeem ourselves from last year. But they are very talented. They're big and they're really good. They got really good running back. They got great receivers, and they got tall receivers that can go. So there's a lot of times in the films that we've watched where the quarterback just drops back and just throws it as high and as far as he can, and their receivers go and get it. So they're a big basketball school.
Okay.
And you can look out wide and you can see those are basketball guys, and they look just like a nice power forward, and they're lobbing them up and going and getting them. So that's something we've been preparing for, and it's something we're going to have to be ready for. But they also run it well. They got a quarterback that can get out wide and get loose. They got a fullback. Now the offense, how they run it with their fullback is they want a quicker fullback. They don't have this big bulky fullback to go lead block.
Right.
They want a quick fullback back there that he can hit the hole quick when they're running their option.
Maybe find a little seam or
find
something.
a seam and be gone. So you got to be ready for that. They got a fullback that if he finds a seam, it's 15 yards before you know it. And then they've got a tailback that's very similar to last week's tailback. Just a big kid, probably in the 6 foot, 6'1" range again, 185, 190 pounds, that we're going to have to flow to the football and gang tackle him. And he ran well last year for us, or last year against us, and we ended up knocking him out of the game last year. So that's one reason we were able to keep it close, because he scored 2 quick touchdowns, and we hit him out. Either a knee or an ankle problem got him out of the game, and so he's going to be ready to come back and run against us, and we got to stop him. He's shifty, he's fast, he's good, he's powerful. So.
Yeah, that's not something you can play and game plan on, is knocking him out of the game with an injury.
Right, and that's definitely not something you want to talk to your kids about. Get that in your program. I mean, we don't need another bounty hunter. So, but we were fortunate to get him out of the game. Luckily, it was no serious injury. It was just something they got him out. He was ready to go the next week. But it definitely, anytime you can knock a guy out of the game playing clean and playing football. Yeah,
especially football. Someone that important to the other team.
Right.
So, looked like they ran the 3-4 on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it's a 5-2.
5-2.
It's very their defensive ends walk. We run a 3-4 and our linebackers are back. Our outside linebackers, they run a 5-2 and they bring their defensive ends down on the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
And those same receivers are at defensive end.
Okay.
So they're tall and they're long and they're pretty bulky. So. It's going to be another week when we roll out and throw. We're going to have to set the edge and have to set it quick, because it's going to be hard for Parker or whoever's at quarterback to see the receivers with those big old guys coming at them. So that's something we'll talk about. But we're also, we're putting in a little stuff yesterday we started with it, and we'll continue with it today, to kind of hit a little quicker. Last week's game, we had holes, but they would disappear. So we were, Brett ran the ball well. And Brett, if you give Brett a crease, he's going to find a way to get through it, But we went against bigger guys, and our guys were doing the best they can. They did a great job blocking. But when you're 180 pounds and that guy's 250, 260 pounds and strong,
it's
and
hard
you can
to
only hold them
block
for so long. That's exactly right. So we put in some stuff to maybe let it hit a little quicker and try to get past those guys. If we're going to the right guy with what we got putting in, we think we're going to have a chance to kind of hit some seams and get past them before they can get off their blocks. And that's what we're going to really focus on this week, is hitting the hole quick and getting to the right guy, because they got a nose guard that's probably
I saw him on the film. He's a big fella.
He's a beast.
Plays left tackle for him as
he
well.
plays left tackle, and that's really scary when they run their little counter tray, and they got number 5, and they're pulling their guard and tackle, and their tackle's 6'3", 6'4", 275 pounds, and can move.
Okay, he's got a little move to it.
Yeah.
He's not one of those big stationary guys.
No, I mean, they're pulling him out from a tackle, so he's trying to come all the way across and wrap and pick up linebackers, and he does a good job at it.
Yeah, it's a big fella with a head of steam.
It is. And then he plays nose guard, and, he's a 2-gap nose guard player, which means he doesn't go one way. He just bench presses the center, finds the football, grabs him, pulls him down. So that's something we've been talking about, and we got some things to do to help take care of him. And we're not going to ask one guy to block him by himself all game, because that's pretty tough to do. So, but yeah, I mean, we feel like we're putting in a pretty good game plan for them offensively and defensively, and now we just got to go out and execute it. So,
a little extra pressure because it's homecoming.
Oh no. I mean, I don't get into all the pressure and everything. It's my job to go get these kids ready to play, and it's the thing is homecoming week. You gotta be on top of it during practice, because they're thinking about everything.
All the other stuff
this week. That's exactly right. So we're trying to just make sure we have an up-tempo go practice where we don't have any downtime, and they don't have time to get their brains start wandering away from football.
Try to keep them focused.
Right, and that's the goal every week. That's the goal every practice. But this week is really an additional notch. You got to take it up a notch and make sure you have a great game plan every practice.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate you joining this week.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
The game's this Friday against the Gatewood Gators, 7:30 at the Den. It's homecoming, so everybody come out and support the team. And if you can't make it out to the game, you can catch all the action live on Legends 1370. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for watching the Wildcats Football Coaches Show. Join Coach Dare and David Carden next week as they continue to review and preview all the Wildcats football games right here on Mountain Vision.
Let's go!
This is Mountain Vision.